What is generally safe but can be fatal if not used correctly? Stairs. Your bathroom. Many people get hurt badly and slip in the bathroom. Oddly enough, we tend to use materials that are rather slick when wet when building them too. One of my favorite phrases is that the only difference between being medicine and being poison is the dosage. Garage doors. Mess with the springs and they will fuck you up. There was an interesting series of events at a glass factory. They kept having accidents but they weren't keeping the detail. So they were forced to start keeping accident records. After a month or so, a pattern emerged. The workers were not being hurt by the glass, as you'd expect in a glass factory. No, the majority of accidents were around using Stanley knives. They had proper equipment to handle the glass, but no hand protection when using the knives. Hence, more accidents. Ink cap mushrooms are edible for agable mushrooms, but if consumed with alcohol they become toxic. One example of why using foraging apps to identify a yes or no answer as to whether something is edible isn't a great idea. They say, nothing is ever lost on the internet, but what is something you have been searching for years and haven't found it yet? When the movie Troy came out and the IMDb forums were still big, there was a post where someone broke down the Hector versus Achilles fight scene by scene and the mistakes each made. He pointed out details that showed Hector's fighting style developed based on his life of war, and Achilles' style was flashy because no one was ever a real challenge. It could have been all bullshit. I know nothing about fighting, war, or Greek mythology, but it was a fascinating description of the scene and I've never been able to find it again. Edit. Big thanks to everyone who replied with possible answers. You guys rock. I upvoted all of you. I don't know if the specific post I remember is in there, but I already read some interesting posts about the fight. Also shout out to Nova2726 who mentioned that IMDb moved to filmboards.com. I might go digging into my favorite movies. There was this small game, not really a game even, maybe a piece of interactive art. It was in black and white and you were a man standing at a bus stop. You could walk around with arrow keys, but if you pressed up you took to the sky and could slowly glide around a starry sky. It was a melancholic and very charming piece that I saw once and searched for since. A local news outlet used to run a video series highlighting shelter dogs. My family ended up adopting one of those dogs. After he passed, I tried finding the video on their site and it was gone. Reached out to them and they said they don't have it in their archives or anything. Bummed me out. I sadly have not been able to access my old photo bucket, which I had for many years before it became a paid service. And it seems the email it was linked to was also purged by the host site. There was a small .x for the game virus. When run it displayed the user's hard drive contents. Them deleted them. Them it did the same for the operation system. There was a message along the lines of, not enough memory to run, and the PC appeared to shut down. After a few seconds the screen turns green and the message, virus. Aren't you glad it's just a game, is displayed. I got my brother-in-law with this on his new, first ever PC. My copy of Marble Blast Ultra on Microsoft Xbox Live. A few other games I have downloaded digitally that have just disappeared. How do men enhance their physical appearance? Workout, skincare, haircut. Regular exercise and a balanced diet really help. So many great answers, but an underrated one is correcting your posture. When my husband's happier, he's standing taller. He says he feels a more positive energy from people he'll interact with, so it makes him feel better. 2. Hold your head up. The gym. You are still ugly, but at least you are in shape. I've read that rolling up our sleeves helps. Skincare and good outfits. How can you tell a Redditor is under the age of 20? I'm starting to see a lot of usernames end in 05, 06, 07, etc. They act like the year 2000 was 1900. Had an argument with someone who insisted I was lying when I said I had a laptop and internet in 2000 because he felt that they weren't available to the general public yet. All their Ask Reddit questions are NSFW. LMAO, I just assume everyone on Reddit is 13 years old. It's done wonders for my mental health and faith in humanity. Cut them in half and count the rings. Reddit, what is the sexiest sex you've ever sexed? What idiosyncrasies drive you crazy about your significant other? When my wife reseals Ziplocs, she doesn't press the excess air out first, so our freezer, fridge and pantry have balloons full of food in them. When he yawns, he typically ends it with a oh, ah, 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 ah from disturbed down with the sickness. It drives me insane. Every cap in my fridge is loose right now. She keeps boiling water then not using it. She wants a cup of tea, puts the kettle on, then wanders off and forgets about it. The next time she's in the kitchen, she'll see her cup there with a tea bag in it and put the kettle on again, then wander off. Her record is 5 times. She sets alarms on her phone to remind her of stuff in her daily routine. But her internal clock is so good that she'll get up to do the thing 30 seconds before the alarm goes off on a regular basis. She doesn't take her phone with her, but she's kind enough to leave it somewhere where I have to fucking get up to fucking turn it the fuck off because now she's in the shower or some shit. He always says, "Know what I'm saying?" after every statement he makes. What is something you know is real but others don't seem to believe in? That a bird once flew through the open windows of my car, straight through and out the other side, while I was driving at highway speeds. I was alone in the car and I swear it happened. My reaction: did that just happen? Quote, the amount of people that don't know narwhals are actual animals. This might off the vein a little, but my answer is, bad things can happen to your child as a direct result of your negligence. People truly don't believe that their child could be internally decapitated, mangled, or die of internal injuries because you didn't enforce the right kind of car seat or even a seat belt. Children 3 to 8 are the largest demographic I've seen that are injured in car accidents as a direct result of being improperly restrained. And people don't believe it. They don't believe that not doing any child restraint research and lacking in their own due diligence can lead to their child's death. Source: paramedic. My dog knows exactly what the fuck I'm saying, even though she pretends she doesn't. Restless leg syndrome. People think it's just being a little uncomfortable and not finding a good position to sleep in. It's actually an uncontrollable urge to move your legs that feels almost like muscle spasms, and it is absolutely maddening. Weirdly, if my cat is sleeping on my bed, I can pat him and it makes it stop. I have no idea why. Being unable to force myself to do something with ADHD. It is like I'm physically restrained when I try to force myself to do something at times. What's a book you love that most people have never heard of? The Killer's Game. A hitman finds out he has cancer and puts a hit out on himself because he doesn't want to commit suicide. Goes out drinking the day before the hit goes into effect. Drunkenly stumbles his way back home where there's a message on his answering machine from his doctor. It was a false positive. He doesn't have cancer. Right about then, the first assassin bursts into the apartment. The rest of the book is a great man on the run kind of action adventure. Read it in middle school in the 90s. No clue if it would hold up today. But 12-year-me thought it was the coolest shit ever. Edit. Holy shit. They're making a movie. https Deadline.com/2023/05/the-killers-game-sophia-batella-ben-kingsley-join-dave-bautista-movie-1235373 228. Me going through this sub as if I don't already have a stack of 36 books I want to read. The Best of Roald Dahl. Most people only know him for his children's books, but his grown-up short stories are just as smart and wicked. Edited to include accurate title. Children of the Dust. We read it at school and it was about nuclear war. It was in 3 parts. The event itself, the immediate aftermath, and the later stage where people in government bunkers tried to re-establish a society. I couldn't wait for our next lesson to read the next chapter. My Side of the Mountain made me want to go live in the woods. The Eyes of the Dragon by Stephen King. Totally different from what you'd expect. Subscribe, my brothers.